Hello, hello. This is Kimberly from Are You Awakening? I am here today to make some art associated with the tall whites. And lucky me, I have met the tall whites, and I'll talk about that when I let them in a little bit more. This is a group of females, and there's one female who she's making me sway. We're swaying. I know. It's really hard to do that in public when you're like, oh my gosh, that girl must have issues. Anyway, so this one main female, she says to call her Maria because she knows that we like names. I don't know any Marias, so okay, I won't get her mixed up with anybody else that's 6'4" and has chalky white skin. So about an hour before I turned on here, I started to feel that feeling. As I said last time, it kind of comes into the neck, and then with the tall whites, they like to show that they're here by you get cold. Like the inside of your body is really warm, but the outside of your body is cold. It's like you're standing in a freezer, kind of like that. So it's not an uncomfortable feeling. It's just not your average normal feeling, so that you know some kind of different energy is coming in. I haven't felt that yet today, although I do feel it in the neck. I do feel it. We're pretty surrounded here. And it seems like this is, I don't sense any male energy right now. I just sense female energy. And she's getting ready. So I'm going to take a minute and let her in. You can talk amongst yourselves or whatever you're going to do. Talk to yourself. I do it all the time. Oh, lovely. We are so glad to see you. Finally. We have known this vessel since she was very young. Lovely. We've watched her grow. She's been an artist her whole life. Denied it most of the time, yet still there. And in her mind are wonders. Such wonders. How she dreams. And so it is with the contract that we arrive to assist, to join with her, to celebrate with her. Creation, when worlds collide. Let's go. I'm going to be quiet for a minute, you guys, just so I can feel my body again. These are very gentle strokes. Very gentle. All right, well, guess that was Maria. I've never heard her speak out loud. Hopefully you heard her. So while we're doing this, I'll tell you how I met these tall whites. Because this is finally coming back to me now after a while. It's been a very long time that it was hidden, and now it's coming back. So when I was young, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, a little bit of 6th grade, I used to get taken out of class to go to another class. And the kids used to laugh. They called me a sped. I was a sped because I was getting taken out of class for what I thought was the remedial stuff. And I don't remember any of it. I don't remember a single class. I don't remember anything once. I'm going to leave that on. Once I got out of the classroom, the regular classroom, I have no memory. So I'll let you decide what you think about that, whether you think it's conspiracy or not. I don't have any bad memories whatsoever. I don't have any at least remembered trauma whatsoever. Don't care to. Don't live in that timeline so much anymore. Anyway, so I grew up outside of Pennsylvania, in Pennsylvania, outside of where all those creepy M. Night Shyamalan movies are filmed in Pennsylvania. Yeah, it was really that scary. It really was. And we did see an awful lot of UFOs there and things. We saw a lot of activity. My family was in the military. Big surprise there. And sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here a little bit. She's letting me move my hands a lot more than others have. And it's actually a little bit of an easier flow. So, as soon as I could, I moved out west because I hated snow so much. And I ended up in Las Vegas, which is the closest that you get for a big city near Nellis Air Force Base. and there was quite a bit of activity there, as I'm sure you probably know. And so I spent a lot of time on that base, mostly in a what we would call a sleep state. And ooh, we're gonna go, okay, there's a new layer. And I apparently have been a translator, and so from wherever I called home base in my natural state, ooh, hang on. We would be called forth to help translate. So basically, since many species don't come into form with vocal cords, they speak telepathically, as I'm sure you know, I translated the telepathic message into whatever language I needed to translate it into, which from what I know now, right now, is basically just English. I do know French, but I suck at it, and I don't even count that as a language right now. So there were a lot of trade things going on, meaning merchant-wise, between civilizations, and technology-wise between civilizations. And I was able to work with the merchants and assist them in understanding the trade terms, as well as delivery times, that sort of thing, agreements. And I guess I was good at it. So we've got lots going on at Nellis, and it wasn't too long ago that I saw a tall white there. I don't even think it was, I don't know, a year ago, not that long. And I had been there in my sleep state. It was just getting to be light in human earthly terms in the morning, and I was on the corner in the base waiting for a bus to take me back. Now back wherever that is, because I'm not sure. I was living here in Hollywood at that time. But back. And across the street was a tall white, and he was, I mean, really tall. I was standing next to a guy who is like 6'3", and I look over and I see the tall white, and he's got the chalkiest skin you've ever seen. It's literally like chalk, meaning it has no sheen to it. It was very matte. And the first thing, of course, I noticed was he's 8.5 feet tall. And I look at the guy next to me. I'm like, dude, how tall are you? And he's like, I'm 6'3". And he's looking over there. And I'm like, whoa. And there was a helicopter flying over. And the tall white had a briefcase. He was in a uniform, as if military for his organization. And he had a briefcase that was down on the ground, and he got very, very pissy at the helicopter, because the helicopter, it was flying kind of low, But he was concerned that he was going to get his head chopped off because he's taller than everybody else. So he was all grumpy. He's like swatting at the air and I was just fascinated. He didn't notice me at all, and that's the last time I remember consciously recognizing one, although they have been around me. Very kind beings, despite what you may read online. Always remember when you're reading something online that you have to consider the source, including me. You have to consider the source. Is it somebody who is steeped in fear and sees things through fearful eyes? Because if so, that's what they're going to report. And so I don't have that to report. I don't have any zero negative experiences with any extraterrestrials, despite all that abduction stuff that's coming up and all of that. None of it to me was negative. All right, so here we are. This is going to go behind something. It's very brown. It's going to go behind something soon. All right, new layer. Ooh, ha. What do you guys think so far? It's okay, you don't have to answer. I'm glad to have all of this practice time. All right, we got a new layer here, and we're going orange. So the insignia on the uniform was kind of cool. It was very much like hieroglyphics. I tried to make a mental picture and remember it, and I tried to draw it when I got to a pencil, but I don't think I did a good job. So if you see anybody walking around that looks really tall and they are dressed in some kind of uniform, I do hear that they do go hang out in Las Vegas and try and fit in with the crowd. Well, shit, in Las Vegas, nobody would even notice. I mean, they've got topless nuns there, and that's totally okay. So what the hell's the difference between that and a 8'5" chalky white guy walking around like Lurch? I can see it. All right. Okay. The hand is moving quite easily, like it's not really asking me to do much. Hi Theo, hi Kaylee, it's nice to see you. I didn't tell anybody about this. It's really just practice to get used to streaming, but I'm very glad to have you here. I hope you're enjoying the artwork. Very, very creative people. I can see that they, I almost sense a little bit of like, come on humans, we're really ready to work with you guys kind of thing. Like, let's go, and we're kind of happy now that things are starting to take off. And so I feel that anybody who would want to do any kind of connecting, that they would definitely be open to that. They are, I mean, they do live on a military base, so I'm sure they are totally sick of people being scared of who and what they are. So if that's you, you know, beware of that. They do love their children. They have, the women are very, very, very much driven towards taking care of their children. And we're going to put something dark behind here. Dark, dark. Really? Oh, it's so... Alright, it's not my painting. Alright, this one I'm told we can make it an experimental one because I'm scared. So we're going to go dark, but it's experimental, so I may be able to hide it. Just going in the background. This is... So, although I have never seen them eat or anything like that, I think that guy Charles Hall has a book out about the tall whites. He was at Nellis for a while, and he seemed like kind of a fearful man, but I can't judge that because I don't know him. But he said that the adults don't eat very much. The children do, and so they have some kind of something that looks sort of like a mushroom soup. And I'm like, right on, because at this point in my life I could do without all the food. That one's going away. So I'm not sure where this is going. Layer 3's got nothing. Interesting. I can tell you I have no idea what I'm going to be doing with this layer. Not a clue. Oh, maybe that's it. I'm told there's green going in here eventually, but not that much. Okay. So they do like to play with our time and space constructs, meaning that they're well aware that time and space don't exist. And so they kind of fuck with us is basically what it is. They, because their belief systems don't include the requirement of time and space, right? They just are. That they can, do things that we would consider that humans can't do, like telekinesis and all that stuff. But that, of course, humans can do that. We all know that. Ooh. All right, this is another scary one because this is very green, and I'm gonna shut up because I got the wrong brush. And so if you weren't with me last time, this little wheel here makes the drips. So it basically tilts the canvas, and it's one of my absolute favorite things about Rebelle, this software. And it is a very popular technique amongst the entities that I channel, and I think that might be just because they know I like it. I don't know, but I do like it. It's great fun. So here, it's very subtle. I've not done a lot. If you saw the one I did this morning, it was like the absolute opposite of this. Like, scary, holy shit, what did just that come out of me kind of thing. And if you want to see it, you can go to my art site, KimberlyDarwin.com. I just put it up there. It's the big green one. Well, there's two big green ones. The recent green one called Succula. And that one came out of me this morning, like around 3 a.m. or so, something like that. Boy, it made me exhausted all day. So, you know, bringing in these energies is great fun when you don't have to go to work later that day, or so I kind of got thrown on my ass a little bit today after that one. All right. And apparently one of the reasons that I'm doing these live, besides working on streaming and things like that, and all the fears that go with all that stuff, is that the video will accompany the artwork someday. I am not told if this is a planet. Well, I mean, it's a planet somewhere in somebody's world, but I don't know if it is just an abstract representation or other. So we will find out. Maybe. Okay. Well, this is very different from the drain flies. Holy moly. That one was a nightmare too. And I had the whole swarm of drain flies. Whoo! Oh. They were a fun group to channel, I'll tell you that much. A lot of little itty bitty minds going all at the same time. I got a lot of images that were little bitty images. It was pretty funny. They're gone now, so it's just my spider and I. And I did just go over to the kitchen and notice I have ants now that the drain flies are gone, so maybe I'll have somebody new to channel. They're little sugar ants, so not really sure how they think in their terms. Now, I never was a landscape painter, ever. I was really never a good landscape painter. So, this is new to me right here. I'm also not all that great at people, although I have been practicing more about drawing the human figure, only because it's coming in and I'm like, shit, I don't necessarily have the skills to complete what you're asking me to do. So I've had to kind of practice a little bit on that. Oh, I don't like that. Hold on. Alright. Well, we're going to improvise. Okay. So Maria was sensing a little bit of disconnection from me when I got all frustrated about where my hand was going. And you know, it is a little bit strange to be able to just give it up like this. With what's going on top. You know, we're just trying to be artists. We're artists. We know what we're doing. We went to school. Well, that's nice, but it's not the only kind of art. So here's me, knowing that this grass is just going to be the background. It's not exactly. It seems like this thing might be more abstract than I think it's going to be. Huh. I'm not sure I've ever done whatever I'm doing before. I'm pretty sure I haven't. My neighbor does a lot of drugs. He's quite animated. So if you hear people screaming in the background, not to worry. All right. So, with this, a lot of noise out there. Sorry, guys. You're good. You don't care. Oh. Now normally when I do this I have a lot of music on, and I haven't really figured out how to do that since you can't use Spotify, which is my go-to. So I will start posting a playlist, because people have asked what I need to listen to when I do this. It does definitely come easier when there's music. There's no doubt about that. All right. This is defining into something, and it looks very This is very female. If you know what I mean. I'm just drawing what she's telling me to, but boy, that looks really suspect. Alright, it totally looks suspect to me, and that's what she wanted me to leave there, and maybe it's an eye. I don't know, but onward. This is dark. I still don't have the cold feeling yet, but I definitely have the connection when I remember to keep her hand moving without trying to take it away from her. Maybe it's like a little extraterrestrial joke. Like let's draw a female thing right in the middle and see if the humans notice. Well, it's pretty. I don't know what else it is, but you know, I haven't been to every planet, so if there's something I'm gonna learn about homeland for them, which I know is at the bottom of the Big Dipper, so outside of the Arcturus area. Alright. There's another big one coming up, and I don't know where or if it's gonna stay, but there's something big coming up behind the mountains. Yeah. I have permission to not, if I don't like it, we'll see. I'll be able to put in at least my opinion, because it looks like I don't want to zap all this stuff out. Oh, water. It's scary. I know that was really pathetic, but it really does. It's like after you've done all that, it gets really scary to add something that just doesn't look like it's gonna go at all. There are very few times that I delete a layer, I gotta say, so maybe I'll just shut up and let whatever happens happen. But the beautiful thing about digital art is you can just delete the layer. Oh. Huh. And so this kind of starry. Yes, Theo, I can ask Marie a question in just a minute. I certainly can. I might be freaking out a little bit about this. I might be. I'm just shutting up right now. Hold on, Theo, I'll get you. We're going dark and we're going smaller. And we're going up. We're going to wet this canvas here so it really runs. And huh. Okay. In me is the fear that I'm just gonna mess the whole thing up. So there's a lot of human stuff going on here, like your connection sucks, Kimberly, and if you really let her in, it would be perfect artwork, blah, 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 blah. So there's a little bit of that going on. There's a lot of that going on. And it's been something I've been dealing with for a while. But I have to say, I don't have any art that I've fully channeled that I didn't love. So even if it doesn't get done today on my full video here, we will finish it. Okay. What's your question, Theo? Okay. Okay. So Theo's question, what is Maria's soul group's purpose? And is she willing to connect with me and share some ways to connect with extraterrestrials in person and through channeling? Maria's soul group purpose. All right, hang on. We're going to draw and I'm going to go in for a sec here. ambassadors. She's not speaking through me. She's not using her voice. She's just giving me the answers. Ambassadors. Contact specialists is what we would call them, as well as what they call wanderers. So there are a group of us, and I am one of those group, which is why she's here with me, that like to push the limits of what we were talking about before, the time-space continuum, meaning that we remember that time and space are a construct, and as such, we like to mess with it. And that includes going back to other times and experiencing what we would call expansion as far as a collective is concerned. So that's wrong. I just did that and it's wrong, and I think it's wrong. I might erase it. There's some erasing going on here. Hold on. Okay. And I have a team that we call we call ourselves the carpet hunters, which sounds really weird, but it's oh, I guess I'm not erasing. See, that's what happens. It just does what it's supposed to do if I just shut up. So the carpet hunters are carpet meaning magic carpet, and we don't just incarnate as humans, we incarnate as all sorts of different things. And we do share the bond of loving to travel, much like you have a world, like a world traveler here, like a backpacker or a hitchhiker or whatever that would be, and experiment using magic, using different techniques in different worlds. And so in there, you've got, especially on Earth right now, you've got a bunch of humans who are just starting to realize that they don't know a goddamn thing about who they are. And as they're starting to realize that we live in this illusory world, they're learning to change their belief systems and accept what we would call magic. And so the carpet hunters basically are, we would consider them shamans, and I really disliked that word for a really long time, shaman. It's like, I'm not a shaman, but I can see that definitely is the case. So shamans meaning that we like to test the waters in different places. We like to mess around with the mechanism, you could say. And as such, we sometimes mess around with people too, meaning that it is kind of a little bit like Harry Potter in that, you got the muggles. You can't do the magic around the muggles because then you get in trouble. Well, you don't get in trouble. You're just weird, which we already know we kind of are at this point, right? So Maria and her group are part of this, but that is not the only reason that they're here. They are here to help us ascend. They are here to help us with technology and to make sure we don't blow ourselves up unless we really want to. You know, we've always got free will to do that. However, we're adventurers. So, your second half of your question. I don't think this is going to get done in one video, you guys. I'm just saying, it looks like I've got like a bunch more layers to do. So, I'm going to stop it in 10 minutes and leave it at that. But as far as connecting, give me a second and let me talk here. Let me feel this. If you can imagine a very tall Scandinavian woman, she's got quite high cheekbones. They're gorgeous, by the way. This is me interjecting. They're gorgeous. And she's got a short haircut, sort of like shorter than mine. It's feminine, but it's shorter. She has straight hair and it's blonde white. It's not completely white, but it's blonde white. And her eyes are blue. And she says that if you can begin to imagine that and focus on what we call, I'm using human terms here, I'm using my terms for you so that you can understand, what we would call soup. So soup, meaning that we as a collective are really only just one being, just looking through different eyes. And the soup is all of the energy that connects all of the individual expressions. So what would look like between you and me as empty space is really what we would call the ethers, or, you know, some people call it dark matter, whatever that would be. I don't know the exact term with quantum physics now, but that connects us. It doesn't have any space and time aspect to it. It is basically like if you're a carrot in a soup and she's a potato in the soup, and I'm using very human terms here just so that you can grasp what I'm talking about. And you can reach through that soup at any time and call out to this person. Now, as far as meeting in person, I probably wasn't able to do that, as you know, until recently, as far as in the waking state. But now I've integrated enough where your sleeping and your waking state are almost the same. And once you get to that point, you don't have the differentiation between sleeping and dreaming anymore. And that's when your belief systems really start to loosen up, and you could be in a prime condition to meet someone in a more physical state, in the beta or alpha brainwave state. It's going to be alpha at this point. So I I like to look at something abstract when I think of her. So squares, circles, pastel colors, I put those together, and that's how I can reach her. And maybe that will work for you, and maybe it won't. I'm not sure. I want you to use whatever techniques you have to see if you can reach out to her. Innocence is very honored with them, meaning that you putting forth the effort is huge, because you are showing that you are willing to face perhaps some of your fears, some of your issues with diversity, which is the whole reason that we don't have aliens landing already, is that we are not ready for that diversity yet at this point. So if you're showing that you are willing to reach out and connect and understand that it is a process, meaning that it doesn't always happen right away. It takes a little while. It took me to reach her, let's see, sorry. It took me about a year. Now, it probably will be easier for you, Theo, because energies have changed and you're a pretty tuned kid. I would say if you try for a few minutes a day to connect and show your appreciation for the connection, because there's lots and lots of individuals that would love to connect with us, but they have to be asked. They have to be asked. Okay. Well, I am about done here with this one. It's not done, but it's about done. So we're just going to go ahead and end this. And my love to all of you. And don't forget, always be yourself all the time. Love.